We are from Discovery. I've been in the industry since 2006, and I'm a financial planner, which means that ngihlala nabantu every day, ngikhuluma nabo ngendaba ze finances, budgeting, everything that has to do with finances, personal well-being. But today's session is called financial wellness. Mawalahlekele, obviously khona abantu abasalayo, and abantu abasalayo, they have to look after themselves and look after each other. Can you still hear me at the back? They have to look after themselves and still look after each other. So, maskuluma wellness, there are 6 parts to it. I'm generally focused on the one part, but I'll quickly touch on each of the parts. The first one is physical wellness. Physical wellness, especially if especially if there's people that you are looking after. It's important ukuthi ubheke i-health yakho, ukuthi uzokhona ukuphila impilo right. The second one is nutrition. Ihambelana ne-physical wellness le. Ma umuntu kumele sidle kahle, si-avoid izinto ezingekho right for thina. So all of this is part of wellness. Le mina ngisebenza ngayo financial wellness. So when I do speak to you today, I'm just going to give you a very simple, I'd like to actually have a simple discussion with you. And it's okay to ask questions during the conversation. We can make it a two-way discussion. But when you talk about financial wellness, there's many things that you need to take into account. And funny enough, lezo zinto lezo, they don't teach it at school. Most of the time you have to learn by yourself, and ufunda so wenza a mistake. So we're going to have a very simple conversation about what are things that you can expect, what are things that you should look out for, and what are some of the decisions that you should, or considerations that you should take into account going forward. Emotional wellness is important. Kumele uhlale ube right. Yes, things do go wrong. Not everything can be 100% all the time, but it is important. And then the spiritual wellness, different people, does it different. It's something that you also have to take into account. And lastly, the social wellness. So as umuntu, all of these things, they affect you, and they affect you in different ways. Physical wellness, nutritional wellness, financial wellness, emotional wellness, spiritual wellness, and social wellness. But mina, financial wellness. So that's where I'd like to focus on today. It's simple. It's not that complicated. In total, before sikhuluma ngama investments, sikhuluma ngento eziningi lezi available. Siqala ngawe as a person. As a person. It's very important with you must live in your means and learn to manage what you have. It doesn't matter what you are, sebenza or sebenzi, utoli pension, utoli grant. Lokho kunakho, you must manage. Ukhona ukugcina for today and for tomorrow. It's a simple message. Most people, they use their money on wants. And then when the time comes for you to meet your needs, imali ayisekho. And then what do? Uya kumashonisa. Because imali yakho awusebenzisanga kahle. Because you didn't take isikhathi. So uzibuza ukuthi, is this a need or is this a want? Very important message, a very simple message, but very important. Abantu abaningi bangena ey'kweletini because of wants and not because of needs. And I'm not saying that isikweleti is a bad thing. It depends on the isikweleti sakho. Uma uthatha isikweleti for ukubhadala school fees, it's a good thing. But uma uthatha isikweleti for ukuthenga impahla, ukuthenga cell phone, it's a bad thing. The school fees is a need. Yourself, what do you want? And as a month, kumele uhlale phansi and have a conversation with yourself and decide what's important to you. Because if I'm a finances are kahle, remember lama awareness besikhuluma, everything else will fall into place. Layers through nami sometimes ngihlulela. Ungacompete. Makhona khona makungekho akukho. We're talking about discipline. Sometimes kumele uzincishe. It's like a diet. Angisho. Mafuna ukulose weight. Baletha amakhekhe manje mabangaletha amakhekhe ngithi ngifuna ukulose weight and ngazi ukuthi ngifuna ukulose weight. Kumele ngizincishe. The problem, what compete? I'm a basics. I'm telling you my tips I tell you. So number 4. How's it going so far? As well that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, le inzima le. Ngoba imali uphuma inzima. Pay cash. Lana ngikhuluma ngani? Hlukana nama credit card. Bawunganayo imali. Ibeke imali until for lento ifunayo until uzobe nayo. Installments right depending on what it's for. Yabo? Mathatha installment yothenga i-cellphone e-1,000 over 24 months. Whereas in ungayibeka imali ufuna ukuthenga leyo phone until uzothenga cash. Installments it's right. Installments empahla asikho right. Because ugcina ubhatala more than what you're supposed to pay 2 to 3 times when you could have paid day one. Angithi nivale ama-account. I'm saying bhekani ama-account enivulayo. And I know what imali is not always there to pay cash, but if you can, pay cash and pay for ama needs card before ufika kuma wants. So makhuluma nge-emergency funds ngasonke isikhathi leyo mali le asithi i-10,000, 5,000, 20,000 kumele uhlale ube na 3 times that amount. Mangabe ku-10,000 kumele uhlale ube une-30 uyibekile because anything can happen. Uzongitshela nga something that's called pay yourself first. Pay yourself first. Again, you must save for a rainy day because in below life happens. Anything can happen. But mangabe awuna emergency funds uzoyapi? Uzoya kumakhelwane? Uzoya kumashonisa? But you can avoid this by paying yourself first. You should tell money to pay yourself first. Imali mayifika. Before you deal nama needs, before dealing nama wants, kumele ubeke enye icala. Ukhohle ngayo. Ukhohle. Ungasayicabanga nokuyicabanga. Wenze ngathi azange ifike nokufika. For this situation.
Let's say, for an example, I've got 3 kids and then I'm earning 4,500. I have to take the others 2 kids to school. The other one I have to pay the crash and whatever. And then my wife is not working. I'm the sole
Breadwinner.
Yeah, breadwinner. Now, how am I going to survive? It's good to tell me, but remember, mama, my needs are so limited. I can't do. I'm living hand to mouth. You know the words hand to mouth. When I got the salary, it's when I start to buy mautoana and whatever, and millimeter. Now, how am I going to save? You see, because sometimes life is challenging. Lots of people life is challenging. You can see even when you open the window, you can see people are meandering all over the show. Now, how can we do that with a small money? I thought that we are going to debate it. Because if you talk about big money, and then I don't have, you talk about 10,000, I don't end up 10,000, I'm aiming 5,000. Then therefore you have to school me if I earn 5,000. What should I do with that 5,000? How should I break it down? I mean, let's debate.
No,
let's first debate.
That's fine, but Elizabeth, thank you. The answers are in everything that you said. They're there. But remember, I started by saying no for Kutla 8. Yes, and I'm sure you do. And then no Kutla 8, and I'm sure you do. So once you've done that exercise, that's the first part. Know what's coming in, know what's going out. It doesn't mean that it means that there'll be something left, but you have to know. So I'm sure you do know. Okay. Okay. Then from there, you have to check the expenses that are. Okay. It doesn't mean you will be able to change it, but you have to check them to see, are they going up, are they going lower? And then you have to cut down on the expenses where you can. It's not always possible to cut down. So, and there isn't enough left. The next logical step is I need to cut down where I can cut down, if possible. And if it is possible, what you do cut down is what you put aside. And then over time, what you put aside starts to yahola. And when there is an unforeseen emergency, when life happens, onali shelter him. But it's not possible for everyone to save. But you recall when I started, I said whether wasebenza, whether uthola pension, whatever the story is, everyone needs to budget. I don't know if I've answered you well enough.
No, you've answered.
So in other words, what I'm saying is that you have to work with what you have.
Can I also say something? I think we always speak about savings as if we must be putting lots of money away. So we're talking lots with money that we don't have necessarily. It's exactly what you're saying. If I'm earning 4.5 and I've got 3 kids and I'm putting them through school and I feel like I've cut all my expenses down. Even if you have 20 Rand at the end of that 20 Rand, put it away in a jar. And I think that's, even if you start small, and over time it can accumulate. You don't have to have big amounts to put away. But I think it's also it's a cultural, it's the way that you approach your money, is that you constantly questioning when you get to the shops. You're saying, do I need this? This item, do I have to have it? If I have to have it, you buy it and you take it home. But if you don't have to have it, you try and cut where you can, and you live within your expenses, and you take that 20 Rand and you put it away for the end of the month. And the next month you'll have 40 Rand. And the next month you'll have 60 Rand. And that's 60 Rand that you didn't have before. So it's about just even starting small. It doesn't have to be big amounts. I completely hear you. Most people in this country are not earning the money that they need to live. But most people in this country are also spending money in ways that are irresponsible. We buy smartphones when we don't need smartphones. Yes, we need a phone, but we can get a phone for 150 Rand. We end up spending 1,500 because we want that phone that our next door neighbor has. We want to be able to be on WhatsApp. So I think that you need to start thinking differently around. I think all of us do. Myself, this is something that I need to learn from. We all need to start thinking as South Africans differently about our money. We need to think, we're not competing. I don't care what Mang has. It doesn't matter. But the fact is, I'm going to buy my 150 phone. I need a phone for work. I'm going to buy my 150 phone, and at the end of the month, I'm going to take my 20 Rand and I'm going to put it away. Because next month, it will grow to 40 Rand. Do you understand, Papa? I don't know if I'm answering or helping brainstorm.
So, you know what this demonstrates? It demonstrates that saving is hard. whether you have or you don't have, even if you have, some people don't save. It's hard. It needs discipline. And it's a personal decision that you take, and you make a commitment to yourself that this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to do it, so that I can have a better tomorrow. But I'm not saying, when I say save, I'm not saying you must deprive yourself. I'm not saying, I'm not saying you must not look after yourself. I'm not saying you must not take care of yourself. I'm just saying, consider how you use your money. Consider how your money can best serve you. It's your friend. Your money is your friend. And if you give it away easily, then it can't serve you. If you want your money to serve you, you must try and keep it. And you keep it by cutting down on the unnecessary things that you don't need. You keep it. I had an example in Mo. They both do the same thing, but you don't always have to have that one. You can have a normal one. And if you want that one, you can save for it. And it's difficult. But you must decide for yourself. And it's really up to you. It's a personal decision. That's why I'm Shumayed Jasinji. Ndlule some layers. And it's a good message. It's a very good message that I'm passing on to you today. So everything iqala ngebudget, iqala ngawe. Everything starts with you. Before you decide to invest, before you decide to deal with any of the insurance companies or whatever it is, it starts with you. Once on a budget, now you have to say, how am I going to look after myself and how am I going to look after my family? What are the things that can cause me to have issues? What are the threats? Well, yokuqala ukufa sonke sizofa, and it's not nice, especially if uyibreadwinner. Ngoba khona abazosala after you gone. The question is, bazophila kanjani? Maufa, if you are called, you must at least obey the funeral policy. Everybody, and money, and you can get it anyway. You just decide who to finance. Over and above that, if you are called, we look in a life policy in which you can nominate a beneficiary. Because Mahambile, there are still people behind you that still need to go on. And they also need money to go on. So this is your gift to your loved ones. Funeka ne-will. I-will izokukhulumela uma ungasekho. Because people can fight and say, but if bekakhona bekazothi senze kanje. But maybe let's do this. But it will say exactly what must happen once you're no longer around. So, Bavia Seven Zanj, if you don't mind telling us, how long have you been working?
More than
30 years. And ufundisa abantwana scored. But bafundise ngalo msebenzi bona. But Nchele, what if you were disabled before baqeda isikole? Ngabe baqedile?
Bazoqeda ngoba
Kanjani?
ngamapolisi.
Oh, there you go. So mina nawe sikhulumela ngo-J1. So disability is important. Because mama sakwazi ukusebenza. It doesn't mean ukuthi ama-needs nama-wants akho ayama nawo. You still need the money. Khona ama-policy nama-disability angakunika imali. lezi zithu zikhuluma ngokugula. You know, sami ngikhuluma nge-emergency funds. If unomntana agula ungana medical aid, that's that money akhumbula le bengithi save kancane. That's that money lizokunceda. But if uyakhona ungasithengela i-medical aid and money but ungasithengela le is suitable for wena and for your budget. La sikhuluma nge-savings ke. So bengifuna ukutshela ngale ndaba yokuthi pay yourself first. How many people bayahola? Bathola like isalary la endaweni. Bathola umholo. Mawubheka i-paycheck yakho. Iyasho ukuthi deductions angisho. Which means that before when uthola imali yakho, khona abantu abathola imali yakho.
It's true.
It's true, eh, baba? Isalary slip yakho iyasho ukuthi deduction ngemali yakho. So before when ubona imali yakho abanye bayibonile imali yakho. You must always pay yourself first. Pay yourself first. Whatever you get, pay yourself first. And pay yourself first does not mean tata leyo mali uyisebenzise. It means tata leyo mali uyibeke. And then bhatala wonke umuntu. Because if you start by paying everyone else, when you need help, where will it come from? That's why you must pay yourself first. Ngikhuluma ngama investments. There's different reasons for you to be in my investments. Some of them is short term. Ngikhuluma nge-short term. Sikhuluma ngento 12 months to 3 years. Umntana wami in 3 years time uzoya university. Uzoyibhatala ngani le university? It means you've got 3 years to pay yourself first. Umbekele umntana.
Now, very expensive. Short term is expensive. We follow long term.
That depend. So I'm investments money, but mahlala nomuntu wazi akunika ama options. Then you can decide on which option you want. But you are right. Wonke ama investments anama fees, but ayahluka. Akhona futhi nama investments anganama fees. And masikhuluma nge short term ungafaka imali ebankini. So akunanda ukuthi ufaka as long as wazi ukuthi why uyifaka and as long as wazi ukuthi ikhona and mase wazi ukuthi ikhona uyikhohle. Ungathi mawuhlezi uthi esikonje ngibeke le mali leyo kumele ngiyisebenzise. Kumele uyisebenzisa when the time comes. But ukhuluma nge long term. The long term, more than 5 years from now. If you know in 5 years time, a motor or whatever, that's all there. And more saver for a short term, save my learning. But more saver for a long term, save my learning because it's cut as a savu, as a corner. And then medium term.